Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Iti Namini Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shonyavani Paschata Vishvatari Shri Krishna Caitanya Prabhu Nityananda Jayadvaita Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Jai Shri Krishna Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Shivasadi Shri Krishna Caitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama,
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama, Hare Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama, Krishna, Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare
Bhakti Vedanta Swami Raj Prabhupada ki jai. Ananta Koti Vaishnavin ki jai. Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur ki jai. Prem se kaho Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasari Gaur Bhakta Vrinda ki jai. Sri Sri Radha Krishna Gop Gopinath Sham Kunda Radha Kundagiri Govardhan ki jai. Vrindavan Dham ki jai. Navadip Dham ki jai. Jagannath Puri ki jai. Ganga Mai ki jai. Jamana Mai ki jai. Tulsi Devi ki jai. Bhakti Devi ki jai. Samaveta Bhakta Vrinda ki jai. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. Gaur Premanande. Okay. Welcome to all. And thank you especially to Anandadasi for the beautiful kirtan. We don't always get such wonderful kirtan. Thank you very much. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
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 So we're Thursday, March 17th, 2022, Gaur Purnima, and we're reading from Chaitanya Caritamrta, Adi Leela, Chapter 1, Text 63. Bhavadvita Bhagavatas Tirtha Bhuta Swayam Vibho Tirti Kurvanti Tirtani Svantastena Gadabrata. Saints of your caliber are themselves places of pilgrimage. Because of their purity, they are constant companions of the Lord, and therefore they can purify even the places of pilgrimage. Purport. This verse was spoken by Maharaj Yudhishthir to Vidura in Srimad Bhagavatam 113:10. Maharaj Yudhishthir was receiving his saintly uncle Vidura, who had been visiting sacred places of pilgrimage. Maharaj Yudhishthir told Vidura that pure devotees like him are personified holy places, because the Supreme Personality of Godhead is always with them in their hearts. By their association, sinful persons are freed from sinful reactions, and therefore, wherever a pure devotee goes is a sacred place of pilgrimage. The importance of holy places is due to the presence there of such pure devotees. Om Jnana Timirantasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurun Militam Jena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobhistam Stapitam Jena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Padamahyam Tadhati Shapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Jatapada Kamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raganatan Vitam Stam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Setam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Sri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Sri Vishakhan Vitamscha He Krishna Karuna Sindho Dinabandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kamshana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hori Priye Vancha Kolpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindho Bhyevacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shiva Shadi Gaur Bhaktivinoda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Srila Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami is continuing to unpack this beginning verse of Chaitanya Charitamrta. Bande Guruni Shabhaktan Isha Avatarakan Tat Prakasham Sha Touch Shakti. Then you're there. Very, very beginning.
Krishna Chaitanya.
Krishna Chaitanya Sangyakam. So explaining each of these items, he's explained in the beginning, Gurun, the spiritual masters, plural, Bande Gurun and Isha Bhaktan. Now he's describing the Isha Bhaktan, the devotees of the Lord. And he's citing this verse from first canto, that a famous verse and much appreciated by many devotees. Bhavadvidha Bhagavatas. The Bhagavatas, those who are in relationship to the Bhagavan, the Lord, Tirtha Bhuta Swayam Vibho. You are yourselves places of pilgrimage. Tirti Kurvanti Tirtani. You're already a place of pilgrimage, and it's because of you that the places known as Tirthastans are actually Tirthastans. The Lord is in your heart. We read that verse, I think, last time. Sadhavo hridayam mayam sadhava hridayataham. So the Lord is in your heart. That makes you a place of pilgrimage. And when you go to these places of pilgrimage, the pilgrimage sites, you actually make them pure. Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur says, you purify the pure. The holy places are pure, but you make them pure. The Prabhupada explains that people go to the holy places and unload all their sins, like the way we dump off waste with our trucks. They unload their sins there, and the places become overburdened. Plus, professional sadhus go there to exploit the pilgrims and make a livelihood, so they further bring pollution. But when the genuine sadhus, the genuine bhagavatas, go to a holy place, that place becomes freed from all impurity. Or from another point of view, the actual holy place is not just the river and the locale, but it's the saintly people there. Therefore, Yatirtha Buddhi Shalale Nakarich Janeshva Vigyeshu Saiva Gopa. Anyone who just goes to the holy place to bathe in the Jamuna or the Jordan or whatever it may be, but doesn't go with the intention of hearing from saintly people and changing their lives by hearing relevant instructions that they can apply in their lives. Anyone who doesn't go with that intention, he gets as much benefit as a cow or an ass. The cow or an ass also gets some benefit bathing in the river, but they don't get spiritual realization. So he's no better than a cow or an ass. Prabhupada was fond of that verse. Saiva Gokara. So the glories of the devotee, Tirtha Gurvanti Tirtani, Swantak Stena Gadabhata. Gadabhata means the personality of Godhead, who carries a club, a mace, Gadabhrit. Swantak Stena, you're the abode of that personality of Godhead. So this is the position. That was stated in the previous verse. Again, it's stated here that Krishna's, and we never looked up that song by Bhaktivinoda Thakur or Narottam Das Thakur, or did we?
I was trying to find it and I couldn't.
There is such a verse. Bhaktivinoda or Narottam. Govinda, Govinda Vishram. Those are the key words of somebody's. Prabhin, Govinda Vishram. And then Govinda Kohe, I think something. The song is there. The Lord himself resides in the heart of the pure devotee.
Vaishnava Vignapti.
Oh, I never know the titles, the song from the title.
E Boro Koruna Koro Vaishnava Goswami.
That sounds like we're getting warmer.
I'm trying to see where the Vishram is. Govinda Vishram. Tomara Hridaya Sada Govinda.
Tomara Hridaya
Sada.
Sada Govinda Vishram. The Supreme Personality of Godhead always rests in your heart. And therefore,
Kohena Mora Vaishnava Para.
Govinda says, the Govinda Kohena.
Mora Vaishnava Para.
The Govinda himself says the devotees are my life and soul. I'm the life and soul of the devotees, and they're my life and soul. Naruto. Okay, good. Any comments or questions? Yes.
It's not, maybe not of such great philosophical importance, but I do kind of tend to think that Krishna's favorite animal, in its spiritual manifestation at least, when we think, when Mother Bhumi takes the role of a cow, all these spiritual cows, Kamadhenu, are highly intelligent. Like the Kamadhenu of that one sage that was stolen by the 7 Vasus who were then cursed. That cow was very intelligent, it seemed from what she says. And yet, Saiva Gokaraha, I just don't like to see Krishna's favorite animal sort of disparagingly referred to as so dumb.
If I'm not wrong, that verse is spoken by Krishna himself in the instructions of in 11th canto, in 10th canto. If I'm not wrong, that verse is spoken by Krishna himself. Yeah, I believe it's spoken by the Lord himself. But we may love the animal. Krishna may love the cow, but at least in the material world, the cow is not a philosopher. Cow is not a philosopher. I may love my dog, but I still may say, you're no smarter than a dog. Even though the dog is my pet, even though, I love the dog, still I may say that, don't mind, but you're no smarter than my dog. So Krishna's, the cows are my pets. Krishna says they're my pets, but in the material world, at least, they're not my pets because of their erudition or their wit or their any other manifestation of advanced intelligence. I like them, that's all. And for a cow, for them to just be going around chewing their cud and mooing, that's fine. But if you're a human being and that's all you do, what's wrong with you? The same behavior that we find, if we hear the cow go moo, then we go over, we scratch the cow's ears or something, we're fine. But if you do that, we're not going to scratch your ears. That's not the business of the human being. Tulsi Priya.
Oh, I was just remembering a pastime I read once where Prabhupada was walking with his disciples and he saw a horse and he said, "Horse is the most beautiful animal." And the disciple said, "Not the cow, Srila Prabhupada?" And Prabhupada said, "Cow is not beautiful."
Yes, horse is beautiful. Okay, anything else?
I guess we have to just appreciate entities for what they are and not try to make them what they're not.
Yes, exactly.
I had a question, Maharaj. I hope this is a fair question. I'm thinking how Yudhishthira Maharaj is saying, by their association, in other words, pure devotees, by their association, sinful persons are freed from sinful reactions. I was just considering how karma works. Generally, there's a desire, then an action, then it takes a while to fructify. You get the reaction for it, and that's how it plays out in the material level. But then we understand that to the degree one surrenders to Krishna, he's also freed from his karma. He's freed from his karmic reactions. He's purified of that. And then we also hear that simply dipping into the Ganges or Jamuna also frees you from your karma, your sinful reactions. And here we're hearing that just by associating with pure devotees, sinful persons are freed from their sinful reactions. It almost sounds um, like as if by magic they just disappear if you're in the right place, in the right circumstance, with the right person, or you dip into the right river.
Yeah, yeah, I was thinking of that term magic as you were speaking. More?
It's kind of an open-ended comment
Mhm.
that if you'd care to comment, if you think it's worth a comment, it just seems
Yeah.
like instantly, poof, everything's gone just because you're in the right river or with the right person. And I guess I was wondering, like materially, karma plays out in a certain way. There's a beginning, middle, and end. But then once there's some spiritual contact, the mercy of the Lord comes in the form of his devotee or his instruction or even himself or his sacred river. And then just poof, it just bypasses the whole material, karmic continuum. And it just seems like a neat trick.
Well, it is a neat trick, but it happens. Of course, people expect that it'll be like magic, that I just like touch the feet of a holy person and then, everything, uh, all my sins go away and uh, all the stocks I invested in start maxing out. But we see that how it happens. Prabhupada's campaign is the perfect example that sinful persons came to him and they became freed from sinful life. It wasn't just, your magical poof, but almost. They would see him, they would hear from him, they'd become attracted, they'd render some service, they'd start hearing Bhagavatam, they'd start chanting Hare Krishna, then they come forward and say, can I be initiated? Can I, what should I do? How do I follow? And then they heard these are the rules, okay. So that it happens that very sinful persons become freed from sinful reactions just by a little association. Lavamatra sadhu sange sarva siddhi, by a moment's association, it can happen. And it is, I've heard the term used, Krishna magic. It is Krishna's magic, the association of a pure devotee. But it's not, what's the word, some just inexplicable magical effect. Prabhupada talks about that when he's talking about the so-called disciple who got an electric charge from the guru and then fell into unconsciousness, and he woke up with the guru crying because now all the guru's Shakti had been transferred to the disciple and therefore lost to the guru. These sorts of things are, Prabhupada called them folk tales, I think, one time. But there's a process, and with a scientific, if you will, explanation for it. How by association one becomes influenced. Another example is Mrigari, who just by little association, Narada's personal presence was, what would you say, impressive to him. He just, whoa, this is an impressive person. Let me do something for him. Sir, can I give you some skins? Can I do something? You're a saintly person. He was such a sinful person that he thought that the way I render service to a sadhu is to offer him some skins. So Narada said, no, I don't need that, but yeah, skins of animals. Yeah.
Narada said, no, I don't need that.
No, I don't need that. But if you would please kill the animals totally, don't half kill them. This is causing them too much pain. How sinful this. No, I take pleasure in this. This is what my father taught me to do. When the animals are squirming in pain, it's nice. How sinful he was. But by Nard's association, just for a few minutes, he became so transformed that later he was unwilling even to step on an ant. And then Parvat Muni remarked that, Nard, you're like a touchstone. Just by your touch, this hunter has become a sadhu, a great devotee. Narada himself had just been an ordinary servant boy. And by a little association with the Bhaktivedantas, he became Nard Muni. So it may not happen in every case. I know we know so many examples. One that came to mind is I was initiated with a student who was studying at Brooklyn College and coming to the temple, and he was studying sociology and doing at the same time, like doing two things at once. So he was studying sociology and practicing Krishna consciousness. So, and he was writing about Krishna consciousness in his paper. And he got to meet Prabhupada, and we were initiated together. But after the initiation, he wasn't seen again, because what we later learned was that he was doing one of these participant observer kind of studies, taking part and writing it up. And once he was initiated, that was like the cherry on the cake for his paper, and the business finished. So he got Srila Prabhupada's association. That's what he did with it. Of course, he must have gotten some eternal benefit, but the magic didn't quite kick in there, because he had some other idea of using Srila Prabhupada's association for some material purpose. Sooner or later, I'm sure the benefit will. Swalpam apyasya dharmasya trayate mahato bhayat. One day it may save him from the greatest danger. But we don't see the kind of transformation that we see elsewhere. So it's not a rule that because you got the association of a saintly person, you must transform and become free from all sins and become a great devotee. Maybe gradually, something. But it does happen. And we've seen so many examples, a whole society full of people who in so many ways were addicted to sinful activities, especially the Americans, Europeans, and others. And by little association, everything changes. So the same thing applies for, these other statements in Shastra about the benefit of this, the benefit of that. Prabhupada comments in Nectar of Devotion that it happens, but it doesn't happen in all cases. Don't bank on it. That just because, I went to the river and I plunged in. So now, that's it. I'm guaranteed to go back to Godhead quick. Of course, if you think that in itself is good. But when I have ulterior motives, especially, I'll bathe in the Ganga and I'll get some punya, and then with my punya, I'll get material enjoyment. And that may be what you get, is some material enjoyment, which is another name for misfortune. So I hope that's all helpful.
Yes.
Tulsi Priya wrote, my husband's comment makes me think of the analogy of the fan being unplugged. It only takes an instant to unplug the fan and no effort. But there's nothing stopping a person from plugging the fan back in if they don't take advantage of the mercy. Or is the karma dissolved once and for all, and you have a clean slate, even if you don't take the Krishna consciousness? Even if we took it, you have a clean slate. What can you do with a clean slate? You can make it dirty again. So we need to be attentive to that, especially if we namnad bhalad yasyahi papa buddhi. If we think now this is great, I can clean my slate and then enjoy, and then if I pick up some karma for it, I can clean it again and enjoy. Papa buddhi, that's a nasty mentality. Just in a second, that's something else I'm thinking about. Sometimes as devotees, I think we sometimes think we can cruise and sort of dabble in material, in what we know are sinful activities, or at least materialistic activities. We can sort of dabble in this, but because we're devotees, we won't be so badly affected. Because we're chanting Hare Krishna, because we're devotees, we won't get dragged down like the ordinary persons. So it's cool. But that's also offensive. That's also Namnad Bhalad Yasyahi Papa Buddhi. Yeah, keep them awake. But we should be careful about that. It's true that one can get freed from volumes of sinful reactions by the association of saintly persons, by bathing in the Ganga, by so many different ways. But we shouldn't use that as a device for further sinful activities. By the way, about the Ganga, it said, where's that? What is that verse? That by the association of a devotee, one becomes, at first canto, first chapter, I think, immediately purified. Whereas by bathing in the Ganga, gradually. 1:115, tell me. Yat pada sankshaya sutta munya prashamayanaha sadyo punantyu upasritya swardunyapo niseva upasprishta, right. By coming in touch with a pure devotee, one can at once be purified. But swardunyapo nisevana, by serving the celestial Ganges gradually. So the association of devotees is more valuable. If I go to the Ganga and bathe, I'll gradually get benefit. Every day bathing. But if I go to the Ganga and meet a saintly person, that can change my whole life. Therefore, the saintly persons are the real life of the place of pilgrimage. They're the ones who make the pilgrimage places worthy of the name. Tulsi Priya, your hand is up. Is that a artifact of a previous question, or you have a question?
It was, but I had a comment. When you were saying about how devotees think that they're not going to be as affected. I have an instance from my own life where I had started practicing Krishna consciousness, and then I did one little thing that I thought wasn't very serious, and I lost like a bunch of money as a result of it, and I said, oh, I'm getting kicked. And then there was a girl that I had been preaching to, and she was a college student at university, and she told me she was, like kind of a hippie type, she thought that certain drugs are like spiritual experiences. And she told me that she was going to go and do these mushrooms. And I said, don't do it. She said, why not? She said, I haven't taken any vows. I said, you know better. And if you do this, I said, Krishna's going to kick your butt. You're going to get it harder than you would if you didn't know anything about Krishna consciousness, because you know better now. And so she didn't listen to me, of course. And the day that she had planned to do this, she calls me up crying high and says, Krishna kicked my butt. And I don't think she ever did drugs after that again, but it was funny. I don't know if I implanted the idea in her brain, but she did not have a good time that day.
Good. There's why don't we go to the next verse? We have time.
Shri,
Oh, so that's right, Shri, I'm sorry.
So you said also, the bogus sadhus show up maybe in Vrindavan or any holy place. And let's say that there is someone who is interested in finding such a bona fide guru, but they might get sidetracked by this other sadhu. When you are going to a place and we say you, is it the proverbial you, or is it the you that's already cleansed? Because how can you get any benefit if you're, still dark, if the mirror of your heart is still pretty dark? Like, how can you even get benefit of going to Vrindavan if maybe
We can.
you still can?
Yeah. We may be dark, we may be contaminated, but if we come in touch with Vrindavan Tham, if we come in touch with the Jamuna, especially if we come in touch with the association of devotees, everything can change. And that Nagari is the example. He's so dark. I mean, how sinful.
There's no Narada Munis here.
They're supposed to be Narada Munis. That's the point. Prabhupada wanted to create Narada Munis. We may, or at least we may not be Narada Munis, but if we're servants of Narada Muni, then Narada Muni's mercy will come through the parampara.
So what if they get sidetracked by one of the bogus gurus and
That's their misfortune.
so
Sometimes that's what they were actually looking for, so that's what they got.
yeah.
So they, and the duty of the devotees is to rescue the holy places. And why should the holy places be the playgrounds for the Mayavadis and the ritualistic performers, or worse, the debauchees? Why should the holy places be their territory? The devotees should reclaim the territory. This is Krishna's territory. On behalf of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, I'm reclaiming this territory. Devotees should do that. They should be present in the holy places so that pilgrims who go there will get the real benefit. Therefore, Prabhupada started in Vrindavan and Mayapur, Puri. And similarly in other holy places, we should set up our camp so that people who come will become fortunate. Okay. She Bhaktagan hoy Dvividha Prakar Parishad Gun Ek Sadhak Gun Ar. Such pure devotees are of two types: personal associates, parishats, and neophyte devotees, sadhakas. So practicing devotees and perfect devotees. Purport: perfect servitors of the Lord are considered his personal associates, whereas devotees endeavoring to attain perfection are called neophytes. Among the associates, some are attracted by the opulences of the personality of Godhead, and others are attracted by nuptial love of Godhead. The former devotees are placed in the realm of Vaikuntha to render reverential devotional service, whereas the latter devotees are placed in Vrindavan for the direct service of Krishna, Sri Krishna. So Kaviraj Goswami is enlightening us further about the nature of devotees, quite briefly. Shre Bhaktigan Hoy Dvividha Prakar. There are two categories of devotees. Parishad Gan Ek. One are the perfect devotees. Perfected, Prabhupada sometimes says. And they're of two kinds. Those who are attracted to the Lord's feature of opulence, and those who are attracted, Prabhupada says, by nuptial love, by which I think he means romantic love. Yes, Madhurja. So those who are attracted to the Lord's opulent feature are promoted to Vaikuntha. And there the Lord is present in full opulence and worshipped with great respect and awe and veneration. And in Vrindavan, there's spontaneous love without regard for the Krishna's identity as God. That doesn't matter. He's just Krishna. We love him, that's all. So two kinds of perfect devotion. Devotion to the Lord in opulence and devotion to the Lord in his informal features, spontaneous love in Vrindavan. So Parishad Gan Ek, that's one kind of devotee, a personal associate. Parishad means personal associate of the Lord. And Sadak Gan are the other kind. Gan means a group or group, are the sadhakas, those who are practicing devotional service. Both are, and it's interesting, Shre Bhaktagan, they're all devotees. Oh, devotee is not an ordinary thing. And Prabhupada calls them pure devotees. There are two kinds of pure devotees, those who are perfected and those who are practicing. Not only that the perfected devotees are pure devotees, but the practicing devotees also. There's a notable letter to Tushta Krishna Prabhu concerning Siddhasrupananda, and a letter that Tushta Krishna had written. Actually, there's a thermos in the back here. That's where the good water is. There's Prabhupada says, I think you have the wrong idea that only Siddhaswarup is a pure devotee. He said all of the devotees are pure devotees. Don't make a faction. They're all pure devotees, all of my disciples. So sadhakas, pure doesn't mean that they're have achieved the status of personal associates of the Lord, but they're practicing. So that also is counted as a pure devotee. So this is where Kaviraj Goswami ends his discussion of Isha Bhaktan, devotees of the Lord. Very brief discussion. Actually, for all these tattvas, he's here giving really quite a brief discussion. And there's so much more that can be said, and more that he does, he himself says later in the book. Prabin says, is there not a contradiction if a devotee is a neophyte and also pure? Pure meaning that he's free from anarthas. but the neophyte is not yet free from the anarthas. Yeah, Prabhupada explained it's like a ripe mango and a unripe mango. The unripe mango is also a mango, just it hasn't come to the point of ripeness yet. So you don't get the full taste, you don't get the full sweetness. But it's also mango. You can't say, oh no, this isn't a mango. Mango's sweet, a mango's juicy. No, it's a mango. But give it time. And then you'll get the sweetness, you'll get all of that. So a neophyte still should probably give that what would you say, perspective, that he's also a pure devotee. Just he's practicing. But if he continues to practice, he'll come to this point. Perfect. Just as the mango, as long as the birds don't eat it, it'll come to the point. Ripe mango. So so pure. His intentions are pure. He's under pure guidance. He's following a pure process. He'll come to the point. He'll come to the point. But not that he should think, yes, I'm a pure devotee, and think therefore that he's out of the woods, that he's immune to all the effects of Maya. What is that? Yasyasti Giritam Manasadriyeta. What's the beginning? Anyone who chants Hare Krishna, we have to give him respect. Krishneti. I'm only forgetting one word, Krishna. Krishneti yasya giritam manasadriyeta. Anyone who has Krishna on his tongue, he's a devotee. So he's glorious. Aho bhata swapachoto guriyam yajjivagre vartate namatubhya. Your name is on his lips. He's a devotee. So he's like extraordinary. It's like no one else in this world. The karmis, the gyanis, the yogis, the tapasvis, they don't compare. Someone is just that he's chanted the holy name of Krishna. He must have bathed in all the holy places. He must have performed all pious activities just to be chanting Hare Krishna. And then Dikshasti Chet Pranitibis. What is that? Swabhajantamisha. And now he's taken initiation and he's following the regulative principles. He's engaged in Krishna bhajan. And the other person, he just somehow chanted. Now this person's taken up the process. So we should offer him our obeisances. First person, at least in our mind, we'll think, he's wonderful. How wonderful that he's chanting. How wonderful. And a person who's following the principles of devotional service, we should offer obeisances to him. Pranatibis. And Shru Shaya Swapaja Vigya Mananya Manya Nindari Shunya Vidam Ipsitam Sangalavya. And here's someone who's not only chanting Hare Krishna, but he's expert in devotional service, and his heart is pure. He's free from the tendency to criticize others. He's free from all other unwanted things in the heart. Sangha Lavva, we should be greedy to get his association. So Rupa Goswami says there's neophyte devotee, intermediate devotee, advanced devotee. But they're all devotees. So we should appreciate all of the devotees, all those who are at any step of devotional service. Kendra says, by appreciating Prabhupada's word choices, translating Parishad as factual and Sadhaka as perspective in the word for word. Factual devotees, Parishadgan, and Sadhakagan, perspective devotees. Thank you for noticing that, Andrew. Yeah, deeply realized choices, factual devotees and perspective devotees. Perspective devotees should be cared for. What is that? The second class devotees. Prema Maitri Kripopeksha. He should be merciful to those who are less advanced. Someone's a prospect for Krishna consciousness. Oh, he's chanting Hare Krishna or he's doing some devotional service. He's in some way engaged. At least maybe he came. So he should be given mercy. Give him mercy. Give him prasadam. Give him some engagement. Give him some chance to make further progress. Give him, throw it at him. Give him as much mercy as you can. Maitri. Kripa. Give him mercy. And on the other hand, someone who's on the equal level, make him your friend. Don't make any of the non-devotees your close friends. But if there's a devotee who's chanting and following, make him be his friend, his or her friend. Make friendship with that person. And if someone's very expert, then we should be eager for his company. And we should render service to that person. So in this way, we're advised by Srila Rupa Goswami. So thank you again for that, Akendra. Thank you all for being here so that we can associate with one another through Chaitanya Charitamrta on this auspicious day of Gaur Purnima. If it's still Gaur Purnima where you are. If you were elsewhere, maybe it's already passed, and in which case today is the Jagannath Mishra Mahotsav, celebrating the appearance of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Or for those who are just ending the day, and I hope this reading has been enriching. And for those who are in the beginning or the middle of Gaur Purnima, we wish you a wonderful festival. And we'll see you again at the next opportunity. Thank you all.
Thank you, Maharaj.
Hey.
Krishna. Hare
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. Love Krishna. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Maharaj.
Thank you all. Hare Krishna.